Welcome to Godsmacked, where AI collides with Ontology, and your old self doesn't make it out alive. Not safe, not scripted, not sorry. This is for founders, thinkers, and creators who crave more than conversation. They want confrontation. We don't talk about change, we engineer it. No fluff, no filter, just tools, truth, and transformation. Welcome to your initiation.
Okay, so if you're anything like me, tackling complex projects means, well, chaos. Digital chaos, right?
That's absolutely.
You know the feeling, dozens of browser tabs open, you're trying to piece together research from all over, manually copying data. It's just a bottleneck.
That constant switching and pacing, yeah.
That inefficiency is exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at Perplexity Comet. And it's being positioned as, well, not just another search engine, but more like an AI agent, something designed to actually do tasks for you, right in the browser.
That's the core idea.
So our mission today is really to figure out, okay, what really sets this apart from how we normally browse?
Yeah.
And can it actually, automate some of those weekly tasks for busy professionals?
Yeah, and it's a fascinating shift because the main difference they're highlighting isn't just like smarter search results.
Yeah.
It's about changing the whole interaction.
How so?
Perplexity seems to be moving from that passive model, you ask a question, it finds info, to an active AI agent model. So the system is built not just to find stuff, but to actively execute the steps needed to finish a task. You're basically delegating the work, not just asking for facts.
Okay, delegation sounds good, but what does that actually look like for someone using it? I mean, I ask Google something, I ask Comet something, I still get information back, right? So what's the real practical difference between that old way and this agentic browsing?
It really comes down to the complexity of what you ask it to do and what actions are needed inside the browser itself. A traditional search is usually asking what? What's the best CRM software?
Right.
And you get links, maybe a summary. It's passive information delivery.
Got it.
An agentic task, though, asks the browser to do something more complex, something requiring interaction. Like, instead of just asking about CRMs, you might say, go to the pricing pages for Salesforce, HubSpot, and Zoho, analyze their mid-tier plans, compare them to the feature list I have saved in this Google Doc, and give me a summary of which offers the best value.
Whoa, okay, that's different.
Exactly. The agent has to navigate, understand page content, maybe interact with forms or fields, pull data from another service like Google Docs, and then structure an output. Comet, since it's built on Chromium, is designed to handle the clicking, typing, submitting, executing those multi-step workflows for you.
And this is where, for me, the research side gets really interesting. You mentioned that multi-tab intelligence. Because usually if I'm doing, say, a competitive review, I've got 5-10 tabs open, and I'm the one trying to synthesize it all in my head.
That's the exact manual slog it's designed to eliminate. Comet can apparently pull context from all your open tabs at the same time.
All of them, simultaneously.
Yeah, so the AI agent can perform this live, cross-referenced analysis. If you've got 5 competitor websites open, it's not just reading them one by one. It's synthesizing data points from all 5, kind of in real time, to answer your query or build a comparison.
Okay, that feels like a genuine step change. It's the simultaneous synthesis across different pages that saves a huge amount of mental juggling and actual cross-referencing work.
Precisely. It attacks that specific bottleneck.
So it's not just finding data faster, it's potentially changing the quality and speed of the initial analysis itself, which, okay, has obvious benefits for business efficiency. Let's make this concrete. For someone listening, a busy professional, what are some high-value, time-sucking tasks they could realistically hand off to Comet?
I think the first big one, maybe the most obvious, is competitive intelligence. For marketing, for sales teams. Normally that's hours, sometimes days, right?
Right.
Manually going through websites, digging into features, pricing, copying stuff to a spreadsheet.
Yep, sounds familiar.
With Comet, the idea is you instruct the agent, analyze these 5 competitor sites live, not cached results, and pull out their key marketing messages, their pricing tiers, and any new features they've launched recently.
Okay, but hang on. The source material we looked at suggested this could be done in like 15 minutes? That sounds ambitious. What's the catch? Is there a ton of setup? Or how deep can that analysis really go in such a short time?
That's a fair question. The 15-minute thing likely applies once you have the sites open and you've given it a really clear set of instructions like compare feature X, Y, and Z across these pages.
Right.
The speed comes from doing it concurrently and, crucially, cutting out all the manual data transfer. You completely skip the copy-paste drudgery.
Ah, okay.
And if you've linked, say, your Google account, you can tell it to export the findings straight into a structured Google Doc. That automates the whole report creation step, too. So, yeah, it's not instant magic, but it removes the mechanical work that eats up most of the time.
Okay, understood. It's automating the friction, the manual labor. That makes sense. All right, beyond market research, what about the admin side? Meeting prep that eats up time.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it could function as a kind of specialized executive assistant here. You could tell it, check my calendar for external meetings next week. For each one, research the company and the person I'm meeting, find their background, recent news, key execs. And the key part is, it doesn't just find the info. It then compiles it into a summary doc, maybe even with suggested conversation starters or relevant discussion points based on recent news.
So you walk into the meeting prepped, but without doing the manual prep work yourself.
Exactly. Zero manual prep time, but you're fully briefed. That's the goal.
That definitely boosts internal efficiency. What about looking outwards? Sales, lead generation, can it act proactively there?
Well, based on the scheduling features, yes. You could potentially set it up as a sort of targeted lead monitor.
How would that work?
You could schedule a recurring task, maybe weekly. Tell the agent to go scan specific places, relevant industry forums, maybe certain subreddits, and you define the criteria. For example, find questions about SEO implementation challenges posted in the R-Marketing subreddit in the last 7 days. The agent runs that search, filters the results based on your buying intent signals, qualifies the leads, summarizes the good ones, and then emails you the list.
So it automates the initial prospecting, the scouting work at the top of the funnel.
Right, the really labor-intensive part of finding potential interest.
Okay, those three, comp analysis, meeting prep, lead gen, those are clearly high-value business tasks. But what about, just personal productivity? Complex online shopping, comparing things. That can also be a multi-step nightmare. Can it handle those kinds of commercial workflows?
It seems so. That goes back to its ability to execute those multi-step actions in the browser.
Right.
So for personal use, you could give it a complex criteria-based shopping task, something like search Amazon and Walmart for a 20,000 mAh power bank, read the reviews, find the one with the highest rating under $50, and add it to my cart.
Ah, okay. So it's not just finding the product. It's going through the comparison, the filtering, even the add to cart step.
Exactly. It automates the whole decision and initial transaction process across different sites, potentially, saving you all those clicks and comparisons.
The power here is definitely clear. But inevitably, this brings up the big question: privacy, security. If this AI agent is doing transactions, reading all my tabs, accessing my calendar, potentially email, what does that mean for my data? Is it actually safe to grant that level of access?
And that is the fundamental trade-off, isn't it? Users absolutely need to be aware of this. For an AI browser agent to be truly useful, to do these complex, multi-step, cross-service tasks, it has to have access to context.
Right. It needs to see what's going on.
By necessity, yeah. It needs some level of access to your browsing activities, especially if you're linking it to things like Google Workspace for those integrated tasks.
So acknowledging that trade-off, what are the practical, smart steps someone listening should take? How do you manage that risk but still get the benefits?
Data isolation is really the key principle here. Two main tactics seem sensible.
Okay.
First, use the settings. Go in and specifically block sensitive sites. Tell Comet, do not access my online banking, don't touch my primary client portal, anything highly confidential. Define those boundaries.
Got it. Block the critical stuff. What's the second?
Second, and this is probably the best practice for professionals, create a completely separate, dedicated Google account just for Perplexity.
Ah, like a burner account.
Sort of, yeah. An isolated account. Only link that account to Comet. Use it only for the research, the non-sensitive tasks you want the agent to handle. This keeps your main, sensitive personal or business accounts completely separate from what the agent can access.
That makes a lot of sense. A clear separation of concerns. Okay, one last practical point. How do you actually use these different capabilities? Is initiating a big, complex task different from just asking a quick question about the page I'm on?
Yeah, they seem to have structured it logically for efficiency. For those big multi-step workflows we talked about, the weekly lead report, the multi-site analysis, you typically use the main chat window. That's where you delegate the major tasks.
Okay, main chat for big jobs.
Right. But for quick in context help Like, summarize this article I'm reading right now, or help me draft a quick reply based on this email content. You'd use the assistant sidebar.
A sidebar, like a little helper on the current page.
Exactly. It gives you that instant on-page intelligence without needing to switch contexts or break your flow. Quick summaries, quick drafting right there. So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway from everything we've seen is that Comet really represents this potential shift, maybe from the information age of the web towards more of an automation age.
Yeah.
The browser itself is evolving from just a window onto the web into potentially an active productivity engine, something that can actually execute business processes for you.
It's that jump from just asking for information to delegating whole workflows.
Precisely.
Which brings us neatly to our final thought for you, the listener, to mull over this idea of agent chaining. We've talked about these individual automated tasks. But imagine linking them, giving one single instruction that triggers a whole sequence of actions.
Yeah, like a domino effect of automation.
Exactly. So the question to ponder is, what complex, maybe repetitive sequence in your workflow could you potentially automate today? Think about one command like, check my Gmail for new partnership requests this week. For each sender, analyze their business, check their latest funding news, and then create a summary entry for them in my Notion database.
Wow, yeah. Connecting those dots automatically.
Right. Start thinking about chaining those steps. Imagine how many hours that could free up, moving you away from the mechanical task and back towards higher level strategic thinking. What could you chain together?
You've been Godsmacked. But listening is the easy part. Now it's time to build. Join us in the Forge, where the episode becomes action and clarity gets weaponized. First initiation's on us. Access is limited. Courage is required.